Hey there, welcome back to FullStack Snehasish. I've got something special in store for all you absolute beginners out there. In this video, we are diving headfirst into the world of Next.js, your ultimate tool for building lightning fast web applications. Whether you are brand new to web development or you have dabbed in a bit of coding, this Next.js crash course is tailor made for you. We will be covering it all from the basics of Next.js to demonstrating server components and client components. We will explore basics of Next.js, data fetching, create powerful API routes, and even deep our toes into the world of databases using MongoDB and Prisma to show you how CRUD operations are performed in Next.js application. But that's not all. In our next video, we are taking things up a notch. I am going to let you decide the fate of our next project. We are going to build a real world application on e-commerce platform or a social media app. And here is where you come in. Leave your comments down below telling us whether you would like to dive into the exciting world of e-commerce or the dynamic realm of social media apps. So be sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. So without further ado, let's get started with our Next.js crash course. So as always, let us start with an empty project that is Next Crash YT, and inside it, let's open the terminal. To create a new Next app, just write npx create next app at latest for the latest version and dot because I want to create this project inside this folder. So for TypeScript, no, I want to make this tutorial basic, and ESLint no. And to faster design, let's write Tailwind CSS yes, source yes, and app router yes. Okay, so it's installing. Okay, it's installed. Let's clear our terminal and let's run the server with npm run dev. So let's click on this link and it should be running. So our server is started and we can see our app. So inside source folder, page.js is the starting point of our app. Let's remove everything from here. Let's remove it and let's add a h1 tag and hello world. And we don't need this. So it's there. Let's go to globals.css and remove all the CSS values. We don't need them. Okay, the CSS are gone. But we need those three lines because we are going to use Tailwind CSS. And now inside layout.js, let's remove this title and write next crash course. This should be the title of our website. Okay, next crash course. Now let's learn how to use fonts in Next.js. It is very easy. Next.js has made this very simple. We just have to uh, change this thing from inter to, let's make it roboto, and we can add some weights or weight, like after this subsets array, let's write weight. You can add one weight or an array of weights, let's say 300. 500, and let's say 700. And Roboto is imported from Next font Googles, and we can see that the font is changed. You can use Poppins font. It is auto imported. Now see, the font should be changed. Yeah, it is changed. So this is how you use fonts in Next.js. Now let us create some components in our source folder, but outside the app folder. So create the component folder and create two components here, navbar dot jsx and footer dot jsx. Let's design those components. To create components faster in React, you have to install this extension. Okay, so let's write all rights reserved at the rate FullStack Snehasish. That is our channel name. Now let's see. Okay, let's add some classes. Max width of 7 XL, MX auto, text center, text extra small. For medium screens, it is text small. And let's add some margin y4, and let's say padding 4. Okay, let us now create the navbar RAFCE to create the component. And okay, let's start designing it. Let's add classes of padding 4, max width of 7 XL, MX auto, flex, items should be center, justify between, and padding. Okay, padding is given. Let's add some padding y of 4. Okay, inside this div, three divs should be there, one for logo, one for nav items, and one for theme changing. So three divs. Let's add classes and add flex 1 to everybody, so that this div should take same width. Okay, now inside this div, let's write logo for now. We'll add that later. And inside this div, all the nav links should be there. Let's add some classes, flex item center, justify center, and space x should be 2. For medium screens, it should be space x 4. Inside this, all the nav links should be there. And inside this div, the theme changing button should be there. So let's create a new folder inside source data folder, and inside this, let's write data.js and paste this code. Okay, these are the nav links. Label and href is there. So let's use map function into that links array. So let's import links dot map link, and index should be there. Inside this, let's write link component, class name should be there, and the mandatory attribute href should be there. So key index and href. Let's close the tag. Okay, and let's write, let's go to data, and okay, it is label. So let's write link dot label, and link is imported from next link. Let's add the href, that is link dot href. Okay, let's see, nothing is there because we have not added it to our layout. Let's add it to our layout. Layout is the component that is default layout of our whole app, though you can create your custom layout later. So let's add navbar and footer. Now let's go to page, and okay, yeah, everything should be fine now. Let's go, and the navbar and the footer is there, and inside it the hello world thing is there. So let us now go to navbar and add the theme buttons. For that we are going to use react icons. Let's go to our terminal and install react icons. It is very easy to use in our next apps. So let's go to Chrome and write react icons. Go to this link and just search for the icon sun for the light theme. So I am copying this, and let's paste it inside the paragraph as a component, self-closing component. And let's add another link. Just search moon and you'll be getting it. Okay, just paste it as a self-closing component, and let's import it. I'll show you how to import those icons, bs moon and bs sun. Okay, from react icons slash bs, because all the icon name starts with bs. This is how you use react icons. So the icons are there. So now let's use some javascript. Before that, let's add some classes. Text excel, font bold, cursor should be pointer. Let's copy the class and paste it here. Okay, it is better now. Now let's create a variable, that is theme, and it should be initialized with light string. Now let's use some javascript, that is, if theme is light, just show the sun component, and if it's dark or anything else, just use that moon button. Okay, now let's see. Okay, it's working fine, but we need it here. So let's write flex here, and justify should be end. Now, yeah, it's fine now. We have to change this icon on click. For that, let's write on click here. Let's write handle theme. Just copy this and paste it here also. Now let's define this function handle theme arrow function, and before that we have to define a use state hook here, that is const theme and set theme equals use state, and it should be initialized with light. Now let's remove this and let's add the conditions. If theme is light, just set theme to dark, else set theme to light. Okay, now let's go. Okay, it says to use the use client thing because it is now a client component, as we have used hooks. So this is a client component. Now use client here, and the error or warning should be gone. Okay, let's click. Yeah, it's working. Okay, now let's try to click on the links. Okay, yeah, now let's try to click on the links. It is navigated to post and add, and it is navigated to about page slash about. So it is not actually the dark theme, it is the not found page. So to create the routes, we have to create the folder in the name of that route, and inside it let's write page.jsx, and this whole thing should go to app folder. So let's create this route about, and let's design this section. Let's add some classes: max width of 7xl, mx auto, padding of 4, padding y of 4, and let's add the heading about, and let's add a paragraph. Inside this paragraph let's add some lorem ipsum. So yeah, let's copy this whole thing and paste it twice. Okay, now let's add some stylings to h1. Class name should be text 3xl, font bold, let's say 2xl, and margin bottom 4, that is 16 pixel. Now yeah, this is the about section, and yeah, it is working. So this is how routing works in Next.js. Now Let us create the another route, that is post, and inside it, what was the URL? Post and add slash post slash add. So inside the post folder we have to create another folder, that is add, and inside this add folder we have to create page.jsx. So add post. Okay, now let's design. Okay, we'll design it later, and it's also working. Now let's add some stylings to the active navlinks. Now let us add the active link feature in our navbar. So for that, uh, let's actually check our path. So const path equals to use path name, and let's console log the path. As it is a client component, it will show the console log in our browser. So let's go to console, and you can see the path. This is how the path is changing. So let's use it to get the active link. Let's add a condition to the class name. If path equals link dot href, then add some classes to it, that is font bold and text blue 500. Otherwise, no styling. Okay, now let's see. Let's refresh. Okay, it is working. So we can see which link is active. Now let us see how images work in Next.js. Use the image tag like this, and it can have class name and some mandatory attributes like source, alt, height, and width. All the images in Next.js should go to the public folder, and let's import it from next image. I have already added a logo in our public folder. So let's add the source. This is the image, and let's add it like this, slash public slash logo. Actually we don't need the public thing, so just add slash logo.png, and let's add the height to be 100 and width to be 200, and alt is logo, and let's add some classes like height 8 and width of 28. Now let's see. Okay, this is how images work in Next.js. Now we are going to implement the dark theme. So for that we are going to use a library called Next Themes. So let's install it in another terminal. Let's write npm install next themes. It is installing. Okay, it is installed. Now let's create a new folder in our source directory, that is providers. Let's create a new file inside it, provider.jsx. Now let's create the component. So let's write theme provider and let's take children as an argument or as a prop, you can say. It will wrap the children, and after that just add these attributes, and let's change it to second bracket and use theme hook here. Use theme. Okay, it is auto imported from next themes. And now let's go to layout.js and wrap everything within this provider. Okay, now we have to go to uh, okay, now we have to go to Tailwind config.js and let's add dark mode pulse class. After that, okay, it's not working. Let's go to inspect, and class is not coming here. So for that, let's go to our VS Code again and let's add some hooks. What we will add is, let's make it first client component, and then let's write const mounted and set mounted equals use state. It should be false at first. Let's use effect and let's add a condition here, that is set mounted to be true after the first rendering, and if set mounted is false, then we just return the children, no theme provider. It will also reduce the chances of hydration errors. So now let's go to layout.js. Okay, it is not working. Let's actually kill our server and start it again. Okay, let's restart our server. Npm run dev, and now I guess it should work fine. Let's see. Okay, server is started, and yeah, it is now working fine. So we have also implemented the dark mode. It is working fine. Now let us talk about how data fetching works in Next.js. Let us now go to page.js and let us style it a little bit. After that, we will fetch some data from APIs. So let's add some classes. Let's add some classes. Padding of 4, width full, flex, flex call. For medium screens, it should be flex row. And items center. Okay, items should be start and max with 7 XL, MX auto, and space between X8, and inside it, two divs should be there. Inside this div, two divs should be there, and let's add the class names first. It will be hidden for small screens, and width should be 30%. For medium screens, it should be flex, and flex should be flex call. Space y should be, let's say, 8, and let's add a div inside it. Class name with full, and let's add another div inside it, h1, and let's say recent users. We will fetch user data later. Let's add class name, text to excel, font bold, and text, let's say green 500, and margin y 2. Okay, after that, let's add a div. Let's add class name, flex, flex call, space y should be 3. Now let's go to JSON placeholder. Just type this link and let's go to users here. You will get some JSON data. Just copy the URL and let's create a function. Cons, let's say async function get user data. Okay, and let's write const response equals await. Let's use fetch method and let's paste the URL and let's return response.json. Okay, we have created the function. Now let's write uh, const users equals await. Let's call the function that is get user data, and we are going to make it a server component. For that, let's write async here. Now it is a server component. We can directly call any functions here, and let's console log the results. As it is a server component, it will show results in our terminal, and the results are there. So let's comment it. Okay, comment it also. And now let's map through the data and show the data. So let's write users.map u and index, and let's add div here. Let's add class name flex. Okay, let's remove this and let's add bg green 100, rounded xl to xl, padding 3, and inside h3 let's add u dot name. It should be user, and let's make it user also, and let's add the key, not here but on the div. Key should be index. Let's see, data should be there. Okay, nothing is there. Let's refresh. So nothing is there. Okay, let's actually remove the hidden thing, and I guess data is there. So let's add classes. Text should be green 600 and font bold. Okay, data is there and everything is working fine. Now let's add another div below this, and let's add class name to this div. We will fetch some posts here, and let's add h1. It should be same as previous div, so we can copy paste that. It should be, let's say, sponsored posts, and let's change the color to red. Okay, now copy this thing and paste it here, and let's change the color also, red 100. Okay, now let's fetch some posts here. Okay, let's go to posts, and posts are there, and let's copy this url. Let's create another function, a sync function, get post data const response equals await fetch, paste this and write return response dot json. Let's write it like this, const posts equals await and get post data, and let's write posts here, posts. Now let's see if the post data is there or not. Before that, let's change this to post. Okay, it should be post dot title. Okay, yeah, it is there. And below this, let's add the description also. It should be post dot body, I guess. Let's see. Let's add post dot body. Let's add some classes. Text red 400 and text small. Okay, so body is also there. Now let's slice this a little bit because it is taking too much of space. So 0 to 30 and slice 0 to, let's say, 60 and dot dot dot. Okay, let's add some dots here also. So we are using these two functions to get post data and user data. So if we want to get them together, just comment them, and there is a better practice actually. Let's write it like this: users and posts, and let's write await here and promise dot all. And now let's call the functions here inside an array. So get user data and get post data. The sequence should be maintained. Now let's see, it should work fine. Okay, it is still working. This is actually a better practice for fetching multiple datas in a single page. Now let's use slice method here to make it look better. Okay, let's say 6, and here also use slice method 0 to 5, I guess. Let's see. Okay, so this is all about data fetching in Next.js. Now we will be moving towards the CRUD operations using MongoDB and Prisma. So let's go ahead. Let's expand the terminal. Okay, and let's go down here. Just kill the server, and let's remove this terminal also, and let's clear everything from our terminal. Okay, now to install free Prisma, let's write npm install Prisma minus minus save minus dev, as it is a development dependency. So it's installing, and let's wait for some times. Okay, it is installed. So now let us install the Prisma client by npm install Prisma slash client. Okay, yeah, it is installed, and now let's initialize Prisma inside our project. For that, let's write npx Prisma init. So it will initialize Prisma inside our project. Let's clear everything, and let's go to our project folders, and you can see Prisma is there. So schema.prisma client and database is there. So I want to say that Prisma is independent of the type of database that you are using. Before going with Prisma, let's install some extensions, that is Prisma and Prisma Insider. So it would be easier to work with Prisma. Now let's change the database provider from PostgreSQL to MongoDB, and the database URL we have to get it from our MongoDB cluster. So we have to change this URL, and for the URL, let us now go to mongodb.com, and You have to log in. Let's log in. Okay, I'm logged in, and you have to create a project here, new project. Let's name it as next crash. Okay, click on next, create project. Now, okay, it is loading the home page. Now let's click on the create button, and let's go for the free plan, and let's add a password here. For now I'm adding next crash as a password. You should use a stronger password. And to access this database from everywhere, you can add this IP address, or you can add it later. I'll show you. Okay, it is building things up, and now let's go to database access. Let's go to edit and click on allow access from everywhere. It will add that access list entry, so it is adding that. It may take some time, just wait. Okay, it is now active, and let's go to database, and let's connect our database with our project. So let's go to connect. Just go to drivers, and let's copy this link and replace it with it. Let's change the password here, next crash, and let's name the database test. Okay, so everything is ready, I guess. Let's now create a model inside our database. So for that, let's create the post model. So let's write model and post, and it should have id of type string, and it is an id, and by default it should be auto generated, and it should be a MongoDB ID, that is underscore ID, and it should be db.object ID, and it should have title, that is type of string, and description of type string, and after that it should have date of type date time, and by default it is now. So our post model is created. Now it should be refactored to Prisma code, but it is not like that. So for that, you can just press Ctrl Shift P, and it should be opened, and just go to Google and write Prisma formatter is not working. Now just copy this line and paste it here, and then copy this also and paste it below this. Now it should work fine. Let's save this. Okay, now all our code is refactored. So now let's go to our terminal and write npx prisma generate everything that is needed for our project according to the model. Now we have to push this model type inside our database. So for that, write let's clear everything and write npx prisma db push, and okay, it is pushed. Let's go to our database and see. Go to browse collections and let's see. Okay, the post is there and no data is there, so it is working fine. Now let's restart our server, npm run dev, and now we'll create the API routes to communicate with our database. But before that, we have one more thing to do. That is, let's go to Prisma folder and create a file index.js, and you have to just paste this code because by default Prisma creates multiple clients. That is not good for our project, so we are pasting this code. So it will use the global Prisma client for us, so everything will be fine. Now let's close all these tabs and we will create our API routes. So to create the API routes, let's go to app folder and create a folder called API. We have to create all the routes in this folder. So let's create a new folder, that is post. And this route will work like /API/post, and inside the post let's create a file that is route.js. We have to write every code for this route inside it. So let's start creating the routes. So let us start creating the post request. So export const post equals, it should be an async function. So async, it should get request and an arrow function. It should have try and catch blocks. Error. Okay, now we have to take whatever data is coming from our client side. So for that, let's destructure title and description from that data. Await request.json, and after that we are going to create a new post using Prisma. Const new post equals await prisma dot post dot create. It will create a new post, and inside it we are going to pass the data as title and description. Title description. Okay, now we are going to send this post using a next response return next response and JSON format dot JSON. It should be new post, and let's send the status also, that is 200. So status 200. Okay, everything looks fine. Now let's copy this and paste it here, and let's change this, add a message like error creating, okay, error in post creation, and let's pass the error also. Now let's go to our postman to test this API route. So let's go to postman. I'm not signed in. Let's create a new request. URL should be localhost 3000 slash API and like this slash API slash post. Okay, slash post. It should be a post request, and inside the body, let's select JSON and let's pass the title. Let's say demo post 1, and in the place of description, let's pass demo description 1. Let's send it. It should be created. Okay, our post is created. So let's go to, actually let's create another post. Okay, let's create another. Okay, 3 posts are created. Now let's go to, now we have to create the get route, and before that let's go to our MongoDB database and see if there is any post or not. Let's refresh. Okay, 3 posts are there. So we have successfully created our posts. Now let's create a get request to get all the posts. Export const get equals async. It will not take any request. Now inside it, const post equals to await prisma dot find many, prisma dot post dot find many. It should get all the posts, and let's return as the next response. Okay, next response dot json, and let's pass the post. Status should be 200, and let's create the try catch block. Copy this and paste it here. Okay, return a next response here also dot json. Message should be can't, cannot get the posts. Now pass the error and the status. It should be 500. Okay, now test this URL. It should be get request. URL should be same, and let's see. Okay, posts are coming. So this route is also complete. Now we have to create the dynamic routes for update, delete, and get individual posts. So for that, let's create a new folder inside post. So it should be second bracket, and inside it ID should be there. Okay, now inside it, let's create route.js. Now let's create individual post using get request export const get equals. Okay, try catch block for error handling, and just copy this thing. Okay, it should be 500, and paste it here. It should be error in getting the post. Now we have to get the ID first from the post. For that, it's very easy actually. Let's take request and params and console log params dot id to see if id comes or not. This id. Okay, so let's copy this id and paste it here. Okay, let's see, an object is coming in our terminal. So let's write it as params.id. Okay, id is coming, we are getting the id. So now let's get the id. Like this you can get the id, and otherwise you can use id equals params.id. Now let's write const post equals await prisma. Let's import it and find unique. Let's pass where clause. It should be id, where finding it using the id. Now let's write a condition here. If there is no post, then return this response, and let's change the status to 404 and post not found. Okay, and nothing should be there. And now let's return the next response for getting after getting the post. So post status should be 200. Okay, now let's see, it should work. Yeah, it is working. So we are getting the individual post. So get request is done. Now we have to create the put request and delete request. So export const put equals async sync. It should get the arguments request and params, same as the get request arrow function. Now return, write the message, and cannot update the post. Let's pass the error also, and status should be 500. Const id equals params dot id, and const title, let's destructure the title and description from request.json. And now let's write the Prisma query. Const updated post, maybe updated post equals await prisma dot post dot update. Pass the data, title and description. Okay, and where clause should be id. Okay, Now let's return the response. Pass the updated post and status should be 200. Let's check the route. Okay, let's write it like this, and it should be put request. Let's send. Okay, it is working. Our route is working, and let's see in our database. Okay, yeah, it is working perfectly. Now let's create our last route, that is the delete route. Delete equals async, same as the put route. Try and catch block. Let's copy this and paste it here. Cannot delete, and write id equals await, sorry, params dot id, and await prisma dot post dot delete, where let's pass the id. Okay, now let's return the response. Let's write message post deleted successfully. Okay, let's pass the status also 200. Now, okay, now let's test the route. Okay, some error is there. Yeah, fine. Now let's test it. It should be delete and send. It should work fine. Let's see. Okay, post deleted successfully. So we have implemented CRUD operations in our backend. Let's get all the posts now. There should be two posts. Yeah, two posts are there. And let's refresh our database. Okay, nice. So we have implemented CRUD operations in our backend. Let us now close all the folders. Okay, okay, and let's start with our front end now. Let's go to page now. We will be fetching all our home posts. Let's first add some classes to this div. Flex call, items center, and space y, let's say 4, and width full. And for medium screens, width should be 70%. Okay, now posts should be there, and let us actually create components for the post. So let's go to components folder and create a new file, post.jsx. Let's create this component, RAFCE. Okay, it is created. Now let's add classes with full padding of 4, and inside it let's create a div, and inside this div let's add classes flex, justify between items, center, and with full padding y2 there should be h1. Let's add classes text to excel, font bold. Let's add a title here. Let's copy some lorem ipsum. Okay, that's it. Let's paste it. Now let's add a edit icon here inside the link. href should be there and it should redirect to /post/post id. Let's say 123. For now we are hard coding it. Now let's go for the icon edit, and let's go, okay, not this. Let's find a better icon. Let's go down, and yeah, okay, yeah, it looks better. Let's add it, and let's import this icon fi edit from react icons /fi because it starts with fi. Okay, everything is fine now. Now let's add class to this icon like cursor pointer, padding of 2, and let's add the content of the post, that is post description. So let's go to lorem ipsum and copy this thing, yeah, till this, and paste. This is the post content or the post description. Let's add background color yellow 100, and let's give corners rounded excel, and let's add text coloring here, text yellow, let's say 600, and here text should be yellow 400. Now let's import this post here, post. Okay, it is imported. Now let's add a couple more posts here. Okay, yeah, the posts are there. Let's make it hidden for the smaller screens. Okay, it looks nice. Yeah, for bigger screens it also looks good. So our homepage UI is ready. Let's add here text yellow. Okay, yellow 500. Let's change it to 600. Yeah, now it looks better. Let's go to, okay, it, this page we have not created this page. So to create this page, we have to go to post, and for the dynamic route we have to add second brackets. Inside it id should be there because the route is /post/id. So let's close it. Yeah, and let's inside this let's add page.jsx rafce, and it should be edit post page. Okay, nice. Now it's working fine. Let us now design the edit post page. So uh, Let's remove this and let's add some classes. Max width, let's say 7 XL, padding of 8, MX auto, flex call, items center, minimum height of screen. Okay, yeah. Now let's add a h1. Let's add class name. Text should be 2XL, font bold, text center, margin of y4, 16 pixel, that is edit post title. And now let's add some input fields, add some classes with full, and focus outline should not be there, so outline none. And border should be there, border of gray 300, padding of 2. Okay, and margin y of 2, and type should be text. Placeholder should be post title, yeah. Now let's add a text area, add classes similar to this, copy this and paste it here. Okay, now actually let's change the theme. Okay, because it is shifting from light to dark. And yeah, and rows should be 10, and placeholder should be post description. Okay, now button should be there below it. So let's add a div first, because two buttons are there. So class name, flex, items center, it should be center, justify should be between, and for medium screens it should be flex row. Okay, and otherwise it should be flex call for smaller screens. Okay, let's add justify between for medium screens. Let's add the button. It should be okay, it should be update, and another button that should be of delete, update post and delete post button. Perfect. Now let's add classes. Text white, font bold, background should be a yellow for update button, yellow 500, padding x8, padding white 2, and text large. Okay, and margin y4 with full. Okay, yeah, and for medium screens width should be, I guess, fit, it was fit content fit. Yeah, let's copy and paste it here, and let's change the color to red, and let's remove the margin. Let's reduce it actually, margin 2 for both. Yeah, and let's add margin top 2 to this div. Yeah, nice. Okay, yeah, the UI is perfect now, and we have successfully created our edit post page. It is the dark mode. Okay, looks fine. Now for the add post page, it would be similar to the edit post page, so we can copy paste that. So let's go to edit post page and copy the whole thing, paste it here. Let's remove this to add post, and let's remove the div. We don't need that. Let's remove a button, extra button. So okay, let's go to post slash add route. Okay, looks good. Let's change the button color. It should be green. Okay, fine. Let's remove the height actually. Let the footer be there. Nice. So our UIs are done, I guess. Now we just have to call the API routes and perform the CRUD operations. So let's go to page.js. Let's fetch some data here. That is our post data. So let's create a function, async function. Let's name it fetch. Uh, let's actually name it get posts, and okay, and const response equals await fetch. Inside it the URL should go, so fetch and first bracket http localhost 3000 slash API slash post. Okay, yeah, API slash post. Now you can write here next. Inside it you can revalidate your results. What it will do is it will revalidate our fetch results every 10 seconds. So let's return these results. So return response or results whatever dot json. Okay, so our function is ready. Now let's write home posts here and call this function here, get posts. Okay, so actually let's console log it first. You home posts. Okay, okay, I guess the posts are there. Yeah, the posts are there. So we can now easily map through these posts. So let's use map function, home posts dot map post, and index should be there, and post should be there. Let's pass the props. Before that, yeah, let's pass the props. Post equals post, and key should be index. Now let's take the props inside our component post, and let's change it to post.title, post.title, and okay, yeah, nice. All the data are there, and let's change it to post.description. Okay, yeah, everything works fine. Okay, so let's go to individual post page, and before that we have to change the href of this link. Let's change it to post.id. Yeah, fine. Now let's click on any of the posts. Okay, undefined is coming. I think it is only id, not the underscore. So let's go. Yeah, the id is there now, and it is working fine. Let us now implement the add post functionality. So we have to use state hooks here. Title, set title, and use state. Let's write the description and set description. Use state, empty string. Okay, now let's add value here. Value should be title, and okay, we have to use client here because we are using hooks, so it has now become a client component. Use client should be there. Okay, now let's add value here. Okay, and let's add on click here and add a function handle add. Let's define this function handle add, and it should be an async function. Let's add try catch block. Okay, let's console log the error here, and just add, actually let's use axios here so that you will get to know how to use axios. I guess it's better than the fetch method, so let's use axios. Const response equals await axios. Users have to write axios and the request type. So axios, let's import it, and request type is post, and the url should be http localhost 3000 slash post slash api slash post, and let's pass the data here, title and description. And after that, and let's define the router here. Router equals use router. Let's import it from next navigation, and after the post is successfully added to our database, we want to push our page to the home page. We want to navigate to our home page. So okay, let's write on change here. I actually forgot that. So let's write set title should be e dot target dot value, and let's copy this and add this to our text area. It should be set description. Okay, now I guess everything is done. So let's write our post and let's add description. Okay. Okay, we have to change the button name. It should be add, and yeah, let's try again. Okay, I actually forgot to add title and description here. Description should be description. Yeah, now it should work fine. Let's see. Hello, it's a demo post, demo description. Let's try to add it. Okay, yeah, it was successful, and it will not show in our home page. After 10 seconds it will reflect because we have added revalidate here. So let's refresh. Yeah, now it's there. So add post is working fine. Let's see if there is our post or not. So yeah, our post is there. So the add functionality is working fine. So now let's go for the edit post page. Okay, so let's go to the page file. Okay, so let's copy the use states from here. Now it has become a client component. So okay, let us copy this also, and this, yeah, it should be description, and it should be description. Okay, okay, it should be set title, and it is a client component. So let's write use client here. Okay, use state, let's import it. Okay, now let's take the params argument here, and let's get the id, params.id. Okay, let's see if the id is there or not. Okay, nothing is there. That's strange. Okay, I think we have not console log it yet. So let's console log the id. Let's clear everything. Okay, the id is there. So now let's write use effect to fetch our post data, and let's write the function here, try catch console log error, and inside the try block const res equals await axis. Let's import it, dot get http localhost 3000 slash api slash post and slash id. Okay, uh okay, we haven't defined the function, so let's define the function fetch post async function, and let's paste it here. And after that, let's console log the response dot data. and it should be dependent on id, and let's call the function. Okay, now let's see if the post data comes or not. Yeah, it is coming. So now let's remove this console log and set title should be response dot data dot title, and set description should be response dot data dot dot description. Okay, should be there. So we have patched the post data successfully. Now let's create the update function. On click, handle update, handle update, and handle delete. Handle delete. Let's define the functions here. Const handle update. My laptop is running slow, so sorry for that. Handle delete. Sorry, handle update. And okay, console log the error. Now let's write const res equals await axis dot put the URL plus ID, and let's pass the title and description. Title should be title, and description like this. Description. Okay, and after the successful update we want to navigate to the home page. So let's define the router. Use router. Let's import it from next navigation. So let's see, handle delete is not defined, so let's define this function also. Handle delete, it should be axios.delete, and let's remove this. Okay, let's see, let's make it 2323, and let's click on update. Okay, it is updated and we have to wait for 10 seconds. Let's refresh our page. Okay, yeah, it is updated successfully, and let's try to delete this post. Okay, I guess it was successful. Let's try to refresh again. Yeah, it is deleted. So we have successfully implemented the CRUD operations, and yeah, everything is done, I guess. And the last thing is, let us implement loading, and yeah, let us implement the loading state. Let So loading like this. Let's refresh. Okay, it was very fast. That is why we were not able to track it. So let's make the fetching a little bit slower. So for that, go to get user data, function, and let's write await new promise, and make let's write resolve here and make it wait for 5 seconds. So set timeout and resolve and 5 seconds. Okay, now I guess it should work. Okay, loading is there. This is how you create the loading page, and you can also create error pages. Okay, loading is working fine. Let's create the error page also. So let's write error.js, same as loading. Just create the component here. Let's write something went wrong. Okay, it should be error, and let's write some error occurred. Oops. Okay. Okay. Okay, we have to make it client component. So let's write use client here. Okay, loading is there. Let's change the URL a little bit. Okay, some error has occurred. Yeah, error page is also working fine. So this is how you create error page and loading page. Let's add some classes to our error page. 50 vh of height and flex justify center and item center, and width should be full. Let's see. Yeah, nice error page, and let's copy this class into our loading page also. So I have added some posts, and this is our final app. And that's a wrap for today's Next.js crash course. I hope you have enjoyed the learning. Remember, your feedback matters. So tell me if you'd like to see an e-commerce app or social media app in our next video. So don't forget to like, subscribe and leave your choice in the comments below. I can't wait to see your votes. And thanks for joining me on FullStack Snehasish, and until next time, happy coding.